Ancient Greeks described virtue primarily with the word arete, which means excellence or being the best one can be, not just being morally nice. Virtue for them was about having a well-formed character that allows a person to fulfill their proper function and live a good, flourishing life. This idea applies widely. A good knife has arete if it cuts well, and a good human has arete if they live and choose well in human life. By the classical period, Greeks commonly spoke of a small set of key or cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. These were seen as stable dispositions of character, each dealing with a domain of life and together enabling someone to live well as a whole person. Socrates and Plato emphasize that virtue is deeply connected with knowledge. To be virtuous is to understand the good and to have one's soul ordered by that understanding. Plato describes the virtuous soul as harmonious, reason-ruling, spirit-supporting, desires obeying, and maps this to the 4 cardinal virtues as aspects of that inner order. Now, Aristotle defines moral virtue as a stable disposition to choose the mean between excess and deficiency as determined by the right reason, meaning the virtue is sandwiched between 2 vices. Courage is a stable disposition of character to face what is truly fearful in the right way for the right reason and at the right time. It sits between the excess of rashness and the deficiency of cowardice. Wisdom is right reasoning about what is truly good and how to act. It is found between where reasoning is abused rather than ordered to good, such as hair-splitting or over-subtlety or cunningness, and on the other side, folly, imprudence, failing to deliberate rightly or at all about ends and means. Temperance moderates bodily appetites, especially for the pleasure of food and drink and sex. Temperance is located between self-indulgence and a kind of sensibility where a person is numb or unable to take appropriate pleasure in ordinary human life. Justice concerns giving each person their due and maintaining fair order in distributions and exchanges. The vices associated with it are a form of injustice shown in grasping more than one's share, such as greed, unfair advantage, or exploitation in distributions and transactions. The other side is accepting less than one's due or failing to assert and honor rightful claims. It could be one's own or others. These virtues are acquired through repeated practice, such as doing brave or generous acts, until they become part of one's character. These virtues are central to achieving happiness or flourishing. Practical wisdom, or phronesis, is a meta-virtue that guides you to find the reliable path to virtue between the excess and deficiency vices. Aristotle holds that one cannot have full virtue without phronesis, because only practical wisdom can rightly discern what the mean is here and now. Practical wisdom depends on a well-formed character through practicing the virtues of courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. A person becomes able to see and choose the mean more clearly. It has recently been said that words are not violent, and this appears to me to bring balance to a situation where nonviolent communication has been used excessively. I would rather reframe this and say that we need to use tact with our discussions. Tact is a relational virtue to say or do what is fitting to a situation in a way that honors truth and the other person's dignity. The excess vice would be ingratiating flattery or anxious people-pleasing, being too careful so not to upset anyone that speech becomes indirect, guarded, or evasive, and important truths or boundaries never get voiced. The deficiency vice would be like cruel bluntness or callousness, saying whatever one thinks with little or no regard for how it lands on others, under the banner of "they're just words" or "I'm just being honest." We need to be more tactful, to say what is true and necessary with appropriate timing, tone, and framing, aiming for the genuine good for the listener.